Welcome to Back of House Business Innovation. My name is Deborah Fraser and you don't know what you don't know. So today what we're going to do is we're going to explore how to get more cash in your business. And one way to do that is through government grants. So today with me in the studio we have Daniel Ronai, who's going to be telling us about how we can get a research and development grant or export grants. These are his specialities, I believe, so welcome.
Correct.
Thank you for coming.
Deb. Thanks for having me here.
Pleasure. Okay, so cash for the business. We all sort of have a great idea and we want to explore a bit more, but there's only so much cash that we have. Now, we do know that the government does offer grants, but often we just don't know how to get started with that, or who we should talk to, or what the criteria is, so which of course is why I've got you here today. So just to get started with that, could you just tell us what two particular grants you're an expert in that you can help us with today?
Yep, so we specialise in research and development tax incentives and also export market development grants. The research development tax incentives, to be eligible, you've got to be undertaking experimental activities to create new knowledge. So you might have an idea where you want to create a new product or potentially a platform to do something, and as long as it obviously doesn't already exist, you can potentially be eligible, as well as also not knowing what that actual outcome is. So if you already know what the outcome is going to be before you do the experimentation, it wouldn't be eligible. Oh,
right, okay. So would you be able to give us an example of some sort of research and development that, you know, that me as a business owner, myself as a business owner I should say, could be eligible for? Do you have someone that you could give us as a case study? No names required.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. We obviously have quite a few clients. I'm just trying to think of an example. Say, for example, well, an easy one is food manufacturing. So developing a new type of food that hasn't been created before, and as long as they're creating new knowledge by doing those experiments and they couldn't already know what the outcome was, then they'd be able to potentially claim. Obviously, if you're just following a recipe, you wouldn't be eligible.
All right, okay. So what about if you had, say, you're creating an online program that was going to do something?
Yeah, potentially. So we've got quite a few clients that are in the software space or develop software platforms to do certain things that haven't been developed before.
All right. Okay.
And as long as there's something behind that website that's actually doing calculations, and intense calculations that hasn't been developed before, then potentially they could be eligible.
All right. Okay, terrific. So what we might just, we could go into, so to get started for that then, so we know the eligibility now is you need to have something that hasn't been done before, you're not sure what the outcomes will be, and it's something brand new.
Yeah, you're creating new knowledge.
Creating new knowledge, okay, that's what I like, don't know what you don't know. So that's great. So, all right, so you've checked off that you're eligible, you've got what's required for that. Now, but then what's the next thing? Who do you get in touch with? I mean, what do you just ring up the government and say, I've got this thing now, how do I get my grant? I mean, where do you go? What is there a government website, or do you go to other places to do it? How do you go about that?
Yeah, so the next steps would be going to the Oz Industry website, and there's a form there where you actually have to put down the description of what your actual objectives and your project is all about.
All right, okay, and that's just on the front.
It's tucked away.
Tucked away. So of course it is. Money's never easy to get, is it? Okay, fair enough. Okay, so you do need to dig a little bit deeper, but you can go to that website.
That's right.
Okay, fantastic. And then from there, what do you need to do?
So from Oz Industry, they cover off the descriptive side of what your project is about, and then you'd also speak to your accountant about the financials, because there's two parts to your actual R&D tax claim.
Oh, right, okay. So you have the project plan, and they'll give you a template for that, or do you have to fill out? Okay, and then you have to see your accountant. So with the financials, is there particular parts of the financials you're wanting to see, or how can you get that right?
That's when you need an expert.
Okay. So you probably would you need an accountant that was specialised in grants, do you think, or could your accountant that you had
You'd want somebody that's specialised.
A specialised accountant.
That's right.
Okay, all right.
So that you know that you're claiming as much as legitimately possible, but on the flip side, obviously, you're not claiming things that aren't eligible.
Okay, all right, well, that's good to know. Okay, so I guess the same applies with the export grants. It's the same thing, eligibility, project plan, and then financials with the accountant, is that right?
So your accountant doesn't need to get involved with the export market development grants.
Oh, all right, okay.
It's done on more of an invoice by invoice line item.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so rather than your financials, whether it's your P&L, it's actually based on your actual invoices, your individual invoices.
To the overseas...
That you've spent money on.
Oh, that you spent money on, okay. So if you just explain a little bit more about this export grant with marketing overseas. So if, for instance, I was, say it was me, and I decided I was going to run some financial literacy course that people could do online, and I needed to go over there and market that to people.
So they're aware of it?
Yeah, aware of it.
Right.
So would that be considered part of that export grant?
Potentially. So, yeah.
Yeah, but any invoice. That's what it's different, isn't it? You just need copies of your invoices. So
yeah, so they actually claim back and want to see the individual expenses that you've
right,
done.
okay. And with the export grants, you also go to Austrade.
Austrade
for that one.
Okay. So it's still federal government, just a different department.
Different department. Okay, well let's go R&D for Industry, and then Austrade for... Well, I guess that makes sense because Austrade's all about overseas.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, of course, that's why we're here, to learn where you need to go with that. So with getting grants, obviously it's not just straightforward, not automatically going to get it. So obviously there can be some extra expertise you need. So,
that's right.
So with yourself and your business, how do you help business owners receive an R&D grant or an export grant? What can you do to help them that will make the difference to them getting it?
Yeah, so the main difference we do is we project manage the applications for them to reduce their time that they've got to spend on it. They will still have to spend a few hours, but we obviously minimise what that is, and obviously as we're doing it day in, day out, we know what they can and can't claim for their expenses.
Oh, exactly. It's a bit hard to say because they only give you a certain amount of information on the website, so I imagine.
That's right.
Yeah, okay then, all right. So wonderful. Well, thank you very much for coming in today. That was great to learn about all that, and the fact that there are two types of, you've got R&D that you can do, there's export grants, the two different places you need to go to. There are, of course, a lot more grants that you can do, but that's all can be state-based or not. But I thought for our program today that these were two particular ones that could be very useful to your business. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.